Okay. I went live, but it's not showing on. Oh, yes,
I don't think because
well,
it is. It's showing. We're broadcasting.
Showing it live. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there we are.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Good
So we're not going to start
afternoon,
until
everybody.
no one's
Okay.
here yet.
Oh, there's 2 people watching.
Yeah, but we'll wait until 4 to like go into. We'll just answer some questions.
Okay. I made sure I didn't tell any of my friends that we were going live today. Can you hear me fine, or is
Yeah,
my
no, I
voice
can.
too loud? Or
No, I can hear you perfect.
okay. I have a feeling like in the future we might have some problems with like people getting out. The more people we have in the Hangouts, the more often that people actually lag out or something.
Yeah.
If
Need to
there's
figure
ever
out how to.
time, what? What were you saying?
I said I need to figure out how to ban. It only gives you the option to like temporarily ban someone.
We'll see what happens today. I'm sure we won't have such a big problem with it. If we do, we'll look into it then. I have a question. Are you able to? Okay, so go to you see where the 3 dots are on the menu?
Hold on. I'm on something else.
Okay, we got 6 people in.
The 3 dots on the menu. On
Yeah.
Google Hangouts or YouTube?
Yeah, Google Hangouts.
Because I'm screen sharing, I can't see much at all.
Okay, so don't worry about it. We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. Don't worry about it. The sound box is the least of our concerns. Okay. Got 5 people in here. You're back on Windows 10?
No.
That's what it looks like.
No, I went back to Windows 7, so I hope it didn't auto update again.
Yeah, you look like you're on Windows 10.
Oh my god. I don't know why. Just Windows 10 is not working on this computer, and it's a good computer too.
How old is it?
I think it's like 3 years old, but it was like the most
Okay.
expensive Sony you could buy back then, so it's lasting a while.
I feel like we have more Americans that come into this than we do Canadians.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to add American content because construction's going to start slowing down. They're just going to be working on the tunnel for the next little bit, right?
Right.
And I have a surprise
So
picture in here. Someone
do we
showed me how
have
to edit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have like a super zoomed in picture from
Oh,
today.
yes. How'd you get it that clear?
Editing. So I paid like $180 for this program.
Yeah.
So basically, I can now make like better YouTube video. Like you see it on my Instagram. I have like all these edited videos now,
Yeah,
but
okay.
just the joke videos.
Wait, what did you buy? Like, which program did you buy?
I forget the name of it. Let me go check.
Is it Adobe Premiere?
No, it's Cyberlink colored. Yeah, Cyberlink.
Cyberlink?
Yeah,
Is it like an editing program? Like,
it
how
does
do you
everything.
process your photos in there?
So
Really?
yeah, so I can like edit audio. I can edit The audio one I found I have to learn how to use it because remember that one YouTube video I tried to do a voiceover on?
Yeah.
And it was all like there was like clicking. Like I have to figure it out because it's so complicated. It's meant for like university students that are like in
Yeah,
like
audio, yeah.
yeah. So it's super
I'm
complicated.
I'm trying to figure out how does a program get something that clear? Like if you can do it that clear in that program, like you can do that in Photoshop.
Yeah. I have my
Like does it do it itself or did you have to push buttons? Like did you have to
wait, have you seen the
do
picture
like follow
already?
steps?
It's not like
Yeah.
super clear. Wait, where do you
Like it's pretty
right, I sent it to you. Yeah, don't
yeah,
spoil it.
it's
It's a
pretty
surprise.
yeah, I know. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Basically I went over to you know where we normally take off?
Yeah.
I don't go in the field anymore. I like park my car in like this parking lot that no
Yeah.
one like is in, and I take off from like this area, and I sit in my car now, and I just like fly over to where we take off. So I flew over
Yeah.
to where we normally take off, and I went up to like the max height we're allowed to go to, and basically I
Yeah.
zoomed in, and instead of filming, what I do is I take a picture. Because remember I
Yeah.
told you my drone is 4K, and I couldn't figure out why my footage was coming out. And we
Yeah,
discovered that it's 4K camera, not 4K video. It's 1080p video, 4K camera.
Right. Yeah.
So I take pictures now, and that's why I'm getting clearer images.
Yes.
So I took the 4K picture, and then I went into my editing, and I zoomed in, and then I enhanced the image, and that's why it's like super. And then I cropped obviously the image out, so you can't see Behemoth like right up.
Okay.
Because in the
Okay.
original picture, you can see like Behemoth's drop.
So you did something on the along the lines of photoshopping it,
Yeah, I
just in a different
photoshopped the
program.
image.
Yeah.
Which people were asking me to do for a while now. I'm just like, if anyone who knows me now knows that I'm not good with technology, but I'm figuring it. I'm getting really good at this stuff now because of Wonderland.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also going to be working on I can't see how many viewers we have and all that, so you can keep updating me.
Pardon? You're going to be working on what?
A documentary about how Canada's Wonderland is like Canada's Disneyland in terms of family.
Or yeah.
So I'm going to approach Dave soon about some filming in April.
No way. Could I help you out with that? That would be sick.
Yeah, obviously I'm going to need help.
Yeah. I would be glad to be introduced to Dave any day.
So we haven't started. Don't worry. We're just talking and getting ourselves organized.
Weren't you in the stream last week? I think I remember you. Coaster Forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 viewers currently.
I hate how it doesn't show the person like that's running the program. And to view comments, I have to like use my phone. So like, thank God for my phone, I can see comments.
I have my tablet here.
Yeah. I think I accidentally ordered that Dell XPS 15.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I went to checkout, and I went all the way. I financed it, and
Really?
I got all the way to checkout, and then that's when I was starting to have second thoughts because I was reading the reviews. But I think it was too late. I think I had accidentally hit submit.
I think you'll enjoy it if you get it. Thanks, Matt, for moderating the side chat. No problem, man. Anytime.
Matt's like the only reason we're able to do this because I had no idea how to do anything technology.
Eventually, I'd like to go.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'd like to eventually get to an actual podcast, like you know what I'm saying?
Nope. Explain.
So you know how like there's an app on your actual on all the iPhones that say podcast, like you can listen to actual radio station. Like I want to buy like podcast space so that we can do it.
Hey Alec.
What about a Sirius XM radio station that talks about amusement parks? How sick would that be?
I don't think there's a big enough fan base.
Hi, Alec.
I don't have time either, so let me know when it's like 4 p.m.
I can help in regards to running the Google Hangout with guests if need be. Thanks, Coast Forever. Coaster. I don't know how to say this guy's name. Can I just call you CSRT Forever?
Coaster Forever. No, I don't think it's Coaster Forever because it would have been CSTR.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Are we ready to get started in a minute, or should we give people another couple minutes to join up?
I'll probably give people another couple minutes. So I have a surprise picture for you all. I learned how to edit. I know people have been asking me forever to use editing tools to get a good picture. So I flew up today, and I used my zoom lens, and I used my 4K camera instead of video, and then I went in and edited it. So we have a crystal clear picture that kind of shows you where the tunnel's going. And I actually have an updated layout. So I've changed what I think this coaster is going to do now based off of the picture I got today. I think you've seen the picture already, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
So I don't think the lift hill is going to go completely over the lake anymore. I think the lift hill is going to drop in between Vortex and come out on Windseeker's side, if you know what I mean.
All right, so I think we're ready to get started. If you're ready, we got 13 people in.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. It is Sunday afternoon. Let's get started. So we're going to be talking about Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds, the two spoiled sisters. This is going to be a good show, guys, so stick around. Let's get started.
All right. So obviously, as you've seen on Theme Park Review, we have some new information coming forward about Carowinds. And for anyone that was in my last podcast, I always describe Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds as the two sister parks now. So you have like Cedar Point, that's like the spoiled brat. And then you have your two spoiled sisters. So Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds are definitely the two parks that are mirroring each other the most now. And I think they're going to be getting a lot of the investments moving forward. Obviously, California's Great America is obviously going to be one of those parks. Yeah. But the two spoiled parks are definitely going to be Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds moving forward. And you're going to see a lot of that evidence. Well, you've seen Carowinds. Carowinds is getting a lot of the investments, but Canada's Wonderland is now going to be one of those parks that are going to be getting a lot of those investments as they move into being that that destination for all of North America. And I think
I think they're going to be two very, very similar parks within the next couple of years. I think they're going towards the same type of goal with becoming much bigger than they already are towards family. And they're trying to gear more towards family currently, and I think that's good.
Sorry, for sure. Yeah. And on the stockholder, and I can't wait for the 14th because there's another one. There's a lot of talk about how successful like the brand identity has been. So Canada's Wonderland has been one of their biggest success stories in terms of Canada 150 and the rebranding into a Canadian market. And then the whole Carowinds is a huge success story in terms of rebranding into the Carolinas. So I think you're going to see that at a lot of the regional parks now. A lot of them are going to. So I think you'll see that at King's Dominion. You're seeing it already. But yeah, we'll get into that a little later because we're going to talk about the things that the parks are doing. So we have Carowinds.
Carowinds.
We
got a lot of stuff today.
So the big one is Carowinds is definitely going to be one of the parks getting a big coaster in 2019.
100%.
I mean, they're the next park that got permits. So if we're going off of like what we're seeing and facts and everything, so they have permits filed for some land movement similar to Canada's Wonderland's permits, and it's named Project Alpha 2019. So I think that's pretty.
So do we have the actual permits to see, or do we not have that yet?
I didn't get them. They're on Theme Park Review, and I didn't want to go messaging whoever found them and blah blah blah.
If we can use them. Yeah. I'm sure we can find it on one of the government websites.
So a lot of talk around a GCI. So just to answer that question, the pic will be up in a sec. Don't worry. It's a good pic, and it verifies like
it actually is.
The tunnel's actually pretty. I don't know. It's not wide enough for a wing coaster. It's wide enough for a dive coaster. Yes, we are
Carowinds
gonna
already has a
we're
Giga
gonna use
coaster.
webcams soon. Don't worry. I think our next podcast will use webcams.
Carowinds does have a Giga coaster, by the way. Coast Forever.
Yeah, Carowinds already has a Giga. I don't think they'll get a Hyper. I think they'll either get. We'll get in. There's actually a section on that. But yeah, Carowinds is going to get a coaster the same year as Canada's Wonderland. It goes with my whole discussion of how the two sister parks are going to be mirror images of each other. One will just be focused on Canada, and the other one will be just focused on the Carolinas. I think they're going to move forward together, and that's a really smart business move in terms of they're away from each other in the market, so they can build the exact same things or similar things and invest in the same sort of way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you do have a Hyper already. The Intimidator. I forgot about that. That whole racing theme.
RMC T-Rex. I don't think they're gonna get an RMC T-Rex.
I don't think so either. I think you're gonna see either a wing coaster or a wooden coaster like Mystic Timbers. Again, Cedar Fair likes to see how things go, and then they'll build similar-ish things in other parks.
I don't think the GCI that they just built at, what was it, King's Dominion? Well, I don't remember where they built a Twisted. What was it called?
Twisted. Mystic Timbers.
Mystic Timbers. They're using timber a lot. I don't think that was as much of a success for them as they thought it would be.
No, it was the huge success.
Really? Because they built so much hype up around this whole tunnel or this whole timber sort of themed area at the end of the ride, and I don't think it really lived up to its hype.
No, the shed didn't live up to its hype. But you have to remember that there's a huge difference between general public and coaster enthusiasts. Coaster enthusiasts are like that video I keep posting. They're like the spoiled brats that expect like all these massive things, and the families and the general public end up loving these little things. I like the whole concept of, while you're waiting on a brake run, getting a little bit of a show. So I think that's what Cedar Fair was going for. And I think if you're thinking general public wise and creating those moments, it's a win.
Right.
But coaster enthusiast wise, it wasn't a win. But Mystic Timbers actually was a greater success than Banshee was. Banshee was the coaster that they built, and they didn't see much of an attendance increase as they were expecting or would have hoped for.
Right, because Mystic Timbers gears towards more of the family.
Yeah. So I'm just reading the comments. I'm going to answer a lot of these questions because I have slides, and if the question relates to the specific slide, I'll kind of talk about it when we get to that. Yeah, they did overhype the shed, that's for sure. And then Cedar Fair name changes. So if you see number 2 and number 3 are related. So we have Cedar Fair name changes and Cedar Fair marketing in specific regions. So if you look at a lot of their parks, basically what they're doing is they're rebranding and renaming attractions towards the market. So King's Dominion's focusing on the apples and the farms and the timber. Canada's Wonderland's focusing on Canada. Carowinds is focusing on the Carolinas. And basically you're going to see that rolling out all over the place. I think Banshee is a great coaster. It just, for some reason, maybe they didn't market it the way they should have.
They should have marketed, the name was good, but I don't know. I'm not sure. They should have done something better with that. I don't know. They could have just advertised better for it. I'm not sure what else they could have done, but I think they should have somehow advertised a bit better about it.
And then we have park improvements. You're seeing all the parks announce that they're redoing all their washrooms, restaurants, catering facilities, blah, 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 blah. We're going to go into what Canada's Wonderland's doing. It's actually massive. I think if you incorporate 2018 and 2019 together, it's probably their biggest investments ever. And we'll go over to that in a bit. And then is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Sorry? The biggest investment would have been Dinosaurs Alive, Starlight Spectacular, and Leviathan added in the same year.
I'm talking about a company as a whole. Like what year would have been their biggest year, but the years coming up?
Purchasing the Paramount Parks would have been their biggest investment,
That's what I thought, yeah. I need someone to make a firm talking point on why this can't be a launched wing.
I can't give you that.
I think we did this in the last. I think we. I don't know. All right. I think we were over this in the last podcast, right?
Remember, the two sources are saying either or, right? Which is interesting.
Right.
I can't give you. I can give you a confirmed as to why it's not an invert, but I can't give you confirmed as to why it's not a wing coaster. The only thing I can tell you right now is there's no wing coaster that has 10 bolts across and 10 bolts down. And the track on
have
site,
footers as close as
you
those
have
footers
to
are.
go pull over on the highway right next to the storage facility and look at this track. This track is taller than a person. I'm 6'3", and this track from ground up is taller than a person. It's my drone footage did not do it justice. It made it look smaller than it is. When you're in person, the track is super tall and super wide. But there's no wing coaster track that's simple. But again, you can the argument this could be a first of its kind wing coaster, or maybe it's 4 people on either side. It could be anything. So I can't give you a solid argument yet that says it's not a wing coaster. So again, we won't really know until August what this thing really is. All I can say is my guess is definitely a dive, and I think I'm going to end up being right, but I'm not going to confirm it's not a wing yet. Touched on that last video. 10 bolts means new B&M. Yeah, it's either like, I mean, we never know, right? Like, you have to understand, B&M's a massive company, and Canada's Wonderland needs a coaster that can eat people. So I mean, maybe we will see a
new type of wing,
a wing coaster that's 4 on either side, right? It could be anything.
What are they right now? 2, right? 2 on either side.
2 on either side. All I know is it's been teased multiple times by the park, even at ACE events, saying that, you know, Canada's Wonderland moving forward is going to work with B&M a lot, and they're going to be working on coasters and designs that eat people, basically. Like, it just gets the people in and people out. So you're going to see shorter coaster designs. You're going to see higher capacity rides. So I mean, it could be anything.
I think it could be. I think it could be either. It's going to either be a dive coaster or a wing coaster. I think a dive coaster is the greatest possibility here, just because of how close the footers are together. I think my theory is when you see a wing coaster going up, the footers are more spread apart because it's a longer sort of layout.
These
and I don't think a coaster. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Finish. I interrupted you.
I don't think with the space that they have there, they can fit a wing coaster, because take a look at X-Flight. X-Flight even has, you can't really compare the 2 parks because they're very different properties. But I think that if you were to try to put X-Flight in sort of the space that they want to sort of put their new roller coaster in, I don't think it would fit. I don't think it would come even close.
No, X-Flight could fit. So that's what. So you actually brought up in it. My source actually said if we were to see a wing coaster, it would be like X-Flight. It wouldn't be launched. So the source who said that it's going to be a wing coaster said it's going to be a lift hill that dives into the lake out of like a drop. So it's not going to be a launched coaster. I think Cedar Fair is done with launched coasters for a bit. Cedar Fair is looking for coasters that they can build and will open up on time. And we're seeing a lot of launched coasters having a lot of trouble. So I think you won't see a launch coaster at Cedar Fair until that gets sorted out.
Do they have a lot of downtime on them?
Well, look at Dollywood. So I think that's why you won't see a launched RMC at Cedar Fair either. I mean, that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were talking about a wing coaster. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I know that they have a lot of downtime.
So, anyone have any other questions before we move on to the slides? Like anything you want to ask us about kind of this whole aspect, these 4 areas? Well, yeah, I think so. We're seeing something move north, and that's what I'm paying a lot of attention to. If we do see so the footers that you're going to see are nowhere near the north yet. If footers start moving north, then maybe this could end up being a wing coaster. But at this current moment, the footers that we're seeing are pointing towards a dive. But also, we have to take into consideration we're like a year and a half out from this coaster opening,
right?
Which a lot can change. So,
Eastern Thrills is asking.
Yep.
Sorry, can I tell you this or?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know where the station will go? That's what Eastern Thrills is asking.
So when I show you this picture, and I think we're going to start getting a better idea now that I've learned how to edit properly and zoom in and edit and make the image a lot clearer. You're going to see where I'll show you where the station's going to go. And I can guarantee the station's going to go here. When they build a coaster, you saw it with the Leviathan, the first area they work on is the station. because there's a lot of electrical to do. There's a lot of, you have to go further down to dig the electrical. You're going to see some water components added because dive coasters, like, they spray the underneath of these coasters, the magnets, because there's a lot of heat that generates on the braking. So there's a lot more work to do. And then if this station's going to be what I think it's going to be, it's going to take a long time to build it as well.
How much time does Thunderbird have?
Show us the pic, please. The pic's coming up, I promise. It's literally next, I think, actually, right, Matthew? I think the pic's next.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. But we have one more question from James Zerwitsky. He's asking, well, how much downtime does Thunderbird have? I don't really know much about Thunderbird or
I don't know, but I don't think it has a lot of downtime. But again, to go over it, so the two sources, so one source is saying it's a dive coaster that's going to be pretty unique, and the other source is saying it's going to be a wing coaster that isn't a launch. It's going to dive, kind of like, it's going to do the loop like Gatekeeper does and dive down after that. So it's not going to be a launch from what we're hearing. But again, like I've said in the past, one of the sources that we originally went with said that Skyrider was going to be for Splashworks, and that is 100% incorrect. So
now we know that.
Even sources can end up being wrong. And as I was telling Matthew today, I'm actually going to move away from sources, just because you never want to upset the park. You never want to upset the park by going with sources, and B, it can also ruin a lot of the fun that we're going to experience over the spring and summer with park teasing. And C, they've been wrong a lot. There's been many years the park's supposed to have been getting a coaster for the past like 4 years, and that's been incorrect. So I think the fun thing moving forward is just going off of pictures.
No, we are not naming any sources. LOL.
I feel a live sense of being able to be on webcam. So we are going to go on webcam next week. It's just because I wanted to do this slideshow, blah, blah, blah. We are going to start the webcam series next week, and I plan to actually have a guest YouTube channel on next week. I'm pretty sure we can get them on.
Well, we'll see how everything works out.
Yeah, we're still experimenting. You have to understand that Matthew's literally the only reason we can do this. I had no idea how to do lives before, so thank you, Matthew, for that.
No problem, man. Anytime.
I don't think track work will be done, but actually, yes, I do think track work will be done before the end of 2018.
Okay, so one thing, you discussed this with me in person. Your theory on the Splashworks being open and then them stopping construction or something along those lines. You were telling me. Yeah. I don't know if you want to go into that.
So basically, what's going to happen is you're going to see the Splashworks path closed until Splashworks is open. I think construction in Vortex Lake will come to a halt. I think construction on the Windseeker side will come to a halt come April, and you'll see construction continue on the Skyrider plot of land until Splashworks is open, and then construction will stop for all of summer until the end of August, and then they'll close the Splashworks path again, and they'll do construction on the Skyrider plot of land. I mean, they're so far ahead. I do know that they actually haven't poured footers. So everything that we thought was a footer, they poured the footers for the tunnel, which you're about to see, but they have not, all those little footers that we saw in Skyrider's plot of land, they're just dug out, and they put wood over them and then a pylon to mark where the footers are. So they're footers, but they're not poured yet. So because of I didn't edit my last photos, I've been like, oh, there's footers there because they look like footers, but they're actually just holes with a wood plank over them and a construction cone to mark where they are.
Right.
But they're a lot. There's a lot more than we originally thought, and they're actually on the current Splashworks path too. So they've dug into the path, and they've dug close to Minebuster, and it looks like they're going to dig a little bit in Splashworks too. I can't tell yet, but we'll see.
Right. I have this really good theory. I don't know if it's a theory. It's probably very true. It comes from Calm Springs in the chat. He says the amusement industry is full of sources to leak info, and sources to leak info to leak fake info to competition. Do you think that's true?
Yeah. So you never know, right? And that's what you see that every year. I mean, like if we went off of sources, Canada's Wonderland should have got a coaster every year by now.
Right.
But the sources I'm talking about are pretty reliable. And I mean, we knew it was going to be thrill rides for the past like 3 years because the sources. Canada's Wonderland was supposed to be the park that got Valravn.
Yeah.
We saw that. I mean, that source was definitely true because we saw construction starting, and then it suddenly stopped, and all the fences went down, and the construction markers came out of the ground. I mean, that was pretty evident.
Right.
But even going off of sources don't know everything.
Right.
I can confirm that because the sources don't know what kind of coaster it was going to be. The sources kind of thought that the coaster was going to be delayed until 2020. That Skyrider's Plot of Land was for a Splashworks edition. So sources don't know everything.
Right.
Because parks are getting more and more protective of information. I think the only people that know things are like, the VP of marketing and the president of the park, and then Cedar Fair, obviously the operations team and stuff like that. Yeah. You're never going to see like people in electricity and stuff like that knowing everything. You're not going to see any of the maintenance workers. They're not going to know anything either.
Right.
And I can confirm that because I've spoken to people in maintenance, and they literally have no idea of anything. They'll give you like the whole, I'm not supposed to tell you anyways, but like we actually don't know.
Right.
Giga Dive.
Okay,
Honestly, I'm hoping it's a Giga Dive. If it's a dive coaster, I'm hoping with the tunnel, it's 300. It's a 300-foot drop. Do I think
that would be insane?
Do I think that's entirely possible? No.
I don't think B&M would mess with a dive coaster that high. To be honest with you,
B&M has said though on multiple occasions they'll do anything a park wants.
Really?
And you see that with RMC too. They said they'll do anything a park wants. There really are no. There's obviously limits, but there's no like limits. Yeah, within a reasonable. It's all what the park wants.
Do you think that our coaster got delayed because they had problems with getting height permits?
No. Our coaster got delayed because Cedar Point is struggling right now. Cedar Point's really struggling right now, and a lot of the investments you're seeing, they're rapidly trying to become the coaster capital of the world again and become a destination in North America.
Right. And I think
our coaster was delayed to help with that.
Yeah.
No, we're never going to be a coaster capital.
No, I know, but we're like slowly getting towards to being one of those parks that's really well known around the world.
That's definitely what they want, but we're going to be more family friendly coasters.
Of course.
You see it with Leviathan and Behemoth. They have very family friendly layouts.
Right.
And they're very tame, amazing coasters, but they're very tame compared to the industry. And we're always going to see that at Canada's Wonderland. So this dive coaster, it's going to be fun. It's going to be unique. But it's not going to have 5, 6 inversions. It's going to have probably 3 or 4.
Right. So this is a very interesting picture we have up here. Do we want to get into depth with that?
Yeah. So I'll move my mouse around. So see these footers here? They're not footers, but I'll show you. They're pre-dug areas with marked for where the footers are going to go, and then you have.
So those are all the pine cones, right? Those are all like the pylons. Pylons, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the pine cones. No, I'm joking.
Is that going to be the new joke?
So, so right here you have, and this is the image before I edit it. So you have your rebar cages that are going to go in the footers. You have literally, you won't see it yet, but you'll see it in a second. But the tunnel is literally right here. And it snowed so much we can't see what they did in the north side of the park. I wish I could. So why don't I go to the next image? Okay. So here we have super zoomed in. Yeah.
Okay.
You have 4 footers that are poured already right here.
Okay, so that's what the station is supposed to be, or that's the tunnel.
No,
that's the tunnel.
That's the exit of the tunnel.
Okay.
And here is where I think it'll dive in here and come out over here. And then maybe it'll head north and go up into a brake run, and then maybe it'll dive again and come back here.
Right.
Oops.
And then it's sorry, if you can go back to that picture. Do you think that along this fence here, along the fence that borders the regular park with the water park, do you think that's possibly where the brake run is going to go, like in within that sort of area?
So here's the station right here.
Okay.
This is where the station's going to go.
Okay.
This is where you're seeing a lot of the work happen.
Okay.
The station could be over here too. They've got a lot of footers in a straight line right here where the trees are. You can't see them.
Okay.
And this could be the transfer track maybe.
My favorite part.
But yeah, this is where you're seeing a lot of the work occur. But the only thing is, this is where I think the lift hill is going to go. There's a dugout section, and it's roped off, and it heads up in the direction as to where the drop would correlate.
Are you able to? I think you're able to use markers on here or something that you can actually draw with. That would be cool.
It's got like a little
that works. That works too. I'm trying to think here. Yeah.
So I want to point out something too. We have some fence removal, guys, if you're looking closely. In Splashworks.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
We have some very big fence removal occurring. So I'm going to pay attention to that. This is another, we could see, I mean, right now it looks like a dive coaster. But again, this is why I can't tell you. It's a year and a half. They started about 2 years in advance, but we're at probably like a year and a half now, a year and 7 months maybe. I could be wrong. Away from this. We're seeing some bigger movement away from. This could be a wing coaster. Again, I'm predicting dive, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, you guys told me so when it ends up being a wing coaster, because you guys told me so and it could be a wing coaster. But we are seeing evidence of this project expanding.
Right. So is there any reason why there's areas that are there that are like sort of, they don't have snow on them, but they're near trees, but snow could get on them? It looks like they've cleared them out for some type of reason.
Where?
Do you know why? They're it's over by Windseeker. Or is that even grass? It looks like it could be, those look like they're the footer things.
Are you talking about these?
Yeah, those. That looks like
those are rebar cages. So
okay, all right. That's what I thought. I thought it was shoveled snow.
No. Rutherford Contracting is on site, and basically what they do is they roll these rebar cages that you're seeing right here, and they insert those into these holes that these pylons are covering, and then they pour the cement into those holes, and this just helps form those perfect circles. And then in terms of here, hello?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And then we have the tunnel that's literally here. We have concrete like footers that are like, that's as close evidence as we're going to get to the direction of the tunnel. And they literally form a perfect line, if you looked closely, here. And I think these hold like the cement tunnel, and they're going to dig in between them. I mean, you have construction moving here. If you see, they've dug a new, so basically this is where the fence used to be.
Yeah.
And here you're seeing a new shoreline.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
It looks like they've dug more for the water to flow. And you can't see it here, but the new water flow for the construction season has been made along here. Sandbags are just covered in snow, so you can't see them. Okay. So this isn't for water flow. So it's probably to make, so when you saw the permit, it said they're going to do some landscaping on it. This is probably to make the area look a lot prettier. So there's going to be more water in there.
Is that for a possible splashdown or no?
No. So if it's a dive, it's going to have a splashdown, and the splashdown is going to be over here somewhere near the end of the ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they also added that new timber kit over here. I think that's a new timber kit, isn't it?
I'm not going to discuss timber kits because I kind of got like a message from timber kits to stop talking about timber kits, because when I made that comment about them maybe doing the station, they just asked me to not say anything that wasn't confirmed. So I'm not going to say anything about timber kits being involved in the project anymore. Timber kits is currently working on, Splashworks shading areas. They're doing the entire new catering facility, which looks gorgeous. So, I mean, Timber Kits does some really impressive projects, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Obviously, they have a great relationship with the park. Yeah.
Okay.
Footers are why I say
Do
launched
you
away.
have any question?
So I can't get it because I'm not allowed on the west side. I can't get a good angle of these footers. This is the best angle I can get. This is me editing the picture, zooming in, blah blah blah. You can actually see the pixels. If you, it looks like it's snowing. That's just because it's actually pixelated. It's not snowing. You can't fly your drone in snow. So we'll go over to the next. So
Splashdown
here,
won't be down on the hill. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Splashdown won't be on the hill. No, they're not going to touch the hill. They need that hill for fireworks. So it looks like they took a bit of the hill away to make a much larger pond, and that's about all you'll see. And they'll probably build the ride in the pond. So here's just a picture, super zoomed in, of the new. That's going to be the new thrill ride, and this is going to be the new family flying canoes.
Okay.
Yeah, just because someone had asked for a picture on that. That's at best I can do. So flying canoes is going where the trampolines used to be, right there. You can see it's been removed. There's a construction trailer, and that's bulldozed. And then the new foundation for the new flat ride is right there.
So a lot of construction going on in the park. Probably the most that they've had in a while going on during the off season. They got like
For sure,
they
and it
got
looks like
stuff
they bought.
everywhere.
Yeah, and they bought some land off site too, just off to like where the highway exits.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
just a lot of stuff. We'll go into that in a second. Yeah, Timberkits is doing the station if they are being so secretive about it. Again, I can't talk about it. They've messaged me to stop talking about it. All I can talk about is what they've currently done in the park. They do all the shading areas for Splashworks. They did the new entrance in Kingswood Theater, and they did the massive catering facility upgrade, which looks impressive now that you can see it from afar. It's big.
Right.
I can't talk about anything Timberkits and Coaster related. They've
Okay,
asked me to
so
stop.
one thing that I want to mention to everybody in the stream right now before we continue on is please do not go to Timber Kits and start asking them about this type of stuff because they will get very mad, and we don't want that.
They're not gonna answer it either.
Yeah.
Like,
So let's stay away from that. It's not worth it.
No, Kingswood Theater is not going to be removed, but again, I can't confirm that. But it's too important to the park. They do a lot of events in there that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the upgrades they're currently working on is the mountain.
Really?
Yeah. So the mountain is being upgraded, or not upgraded. It's just being renovated. So probably some new paint because you can see there's a lot of rust in a lot of areas.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they do the projection show, you can see the rust on the inside where the water is. So that's an announcement from their blog post. So they're working on some minor mountain upgrades, blah, blah. They've been doing some teasing. Like the park keeps posting videos of them walking up the mountain path underneath Thunder Run. So,
is it possible that they're bringing that walk back, that thing back, where you can actually walk on the mountain?
Possibility. That's what I think they might be working on. I don't think we'll see it open in 2018, but I mean, we could see it in 2019. What we're hearing is there's a couple of pretty big things happening in 2019.
For sure.
Everyone needs to let go of the invert. The invert isn't coming to. So from what I've heard, Flight Deck might be receiving some upgrades for this 2018 season. So new trains and new seats. If that happens, we're not getting an invert anytime soon.
100%, if ever.
Yeah. From what I heard, Flight Deck is a huge people eater. It never has a line because it actually eats people like there's no tomorrow. It's constantly on the top list for like ridership. So I don't think you have to remember the park isn't going to build things that they already have that work.
Right.
So they're going to be focusing.
They're very good like that. Very good like that.
Yeah. If they're going with a Canadian thing, they should call the ride Mean Poutine.
Mean Poutine.
They're not going to remove Kingswood ever. I don't know that for a fact, but Kingswood is extremely important to the park. They have the giant Middle Eastern festival there every year. They have the Christian band festival there. From what I understand, they're actually trying to work on bigger events in that theater too, and actually build a box office on site.
That would be cool. So we got a question for. Okay, so walk again behind the waterfall. Was there ever a walk behind the waterfall? I don't ever remember hearing that. I thought it was like a viewing point on top of the mountain.
No, you see the door here, and the door there.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they would see how they have that giant kind of wall there.
Yeah.
behind the falls. Yeah, you could walk behind. I could see that
You used
definitely
to be able
returning
to. So where
eventually.
would the queue be?
But you wouldn't need a queue; it would just kind of be like a pathway.
Oh, okay.
It's just a quick like
Oh,
CS.
it's like a pathway. I see. So they
Yeah,
used to use that as like a pathway to get to the other side, like a bridge.
yeah, and it probably just kind of like became deteriorated and probably closed. I could see that.
I could see them reopening it and possibly like, renovating it a little bit. Do you think Time Warp will be removed anytime soon? I don't know. That's a good question. I could see it. I don't know. It depends what their plans are in the future. If they're looking at building, you had an interesting theory about them taking out Flight Deck and Time Warp and putting the hotel in there, right?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. If so, I don't. The resort is not going in the parking lot, guys.
It's
Again,
just
I don't know
yeah.
this. If you don't see construction for a parking garage anytime soon, it would have already happened. If they're gonna take up some of the parking lot to build this resort, we would have already seen a parking garage being built. And the reason being is the parking lot can't even handle their current crowds. So they're not going to demolish the parking lot to build a resort in it if they can't even maintain their current levels of attendance. And the park is growing every year. So the park, until we see a parking garage being built, the resort is not going in the parking lot. I don't care what person from where says what, but the resort is not going in the parking lot. So my current theories are if Flight Deck doesn't get an upgrade, like it's being rumored, then maybe we'll see Time Warp and Flight Deck be removed for a resort in that location. Why? You have a good view of the mountain. It's right next to a temporary entrance, Kingswood. They built that new Timber Kits entrance that's more beautiful. I think that would be a great location for view wise. And it's right next to the parking lot, so you can kind of you park there and go there. I have no idea. Or you're going to see a wing coaster, flying coaster, or invert there. Replace those two coasters and interact with Front Gate, and then maybe that coaster will be called Ziz, and you kind of have Leviathan and Ziz interacting with each other at the Front Gate.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. How
Those are
about
my two
this?
theories.
Here's my theory. I think the hotel's going in the mountain. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Get off my stream. No, there's not enough room.
They're renovating the inside of the mountain to hold a resort. So we're getting rid of Guardian and we're getting rid of Thunder Run and Vortex. You can't forget Vortex.
So that's just part of the mountain upgrades. They're currently working on washroom upgrades and changing room upgrades. So that was announced
That's a nice washroom.
That's an old one. That's the changing rooms. So they're just working on those upgrades. They're working on restaurant upgrades and catering upgrades in the park as well, which we'll see in 2018.
You should have cropped out Starbucks.
And then this kiddie pool is what's doubling in size, and they're adding interactive fountain and play areas. So that's coming in 2018. Cool. And then obviously Lumberjack.
Yes, here we go.
So again, if you're seeing a trend here, the park's getting a lot of investments. Now this comes to a slight rumor. So in 2019, we're hearing that maybe with the removal of Dinosaurs Alive, this new coaster isn't the only thing we're going to see. So I have a couple predictions. I've been told expansion. Yeah, I've been told they're pretty big investments that are coming in 2019. So a couple of predictions would be Camp Snoopy. So would be taking over Dinosaurs Alive. Maybe the resort will actually go in that area. Who knows? So it could be a resort. So I have Great Wolf Lodge. Great Wolf Lodge is my prediction, is to what they're building. And the reason being,
I could see it.
Canadian themed. We don't have one in the Toronto area. Cedar Fair is going after the Toronto market. We heard that it's going to contain a water park, potentially an indoor water park. So that would be my guess.
So just to add on to your whole Great Wolf Lodge thing, I don't know if you know this, but it was recently announced that they are getting ready to open a Great Wolf Lodge in Illinois.
Yeah, and it's being built really quickly too for a resort.
Yeah.
I think it's a 1-year project. We are getting close to the resort not being able to be open for 2019, by the way. So we're not.
I don't think it's going to be open for 2019.
Yeah, if we don't see anything anytime soon, it's probably going to be 2020, 2021. Maybe it'll be a 40th anniversary edition, right?
Yeah.
And then we have my prediction. Maybe we'll see 2 coasters in 2019. Do I think that's possible? No.
I don't think so. I think that's highly unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely.
again, they're looking to invest 10% of revenues into parks, and Canada's Wonderland is one of their parks that needs investments because their coaster lineup is not adequate for what they're doing in terms of attendance. So
is this Goliath?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we could see maybe if it's a dive coasters are the cheapest model of coaster you could build in terms of B&M. Maybe we'll see an RMC conversion in the same year, and if not, RMC is probably going to happen in 2021 for the 40th anniversary. So again, we don't know what's happening in 2019. We're just hearing that it's going to be a big year for Wonderland. And with the tweets, they kind of correspond. Dave saying sometimes the wait, because it's been technically a 7-year wait for a coaster, is worth it. That's all we have in terms of tweets right now.
Oh. Where the hell would they fit a Great Wolf Lodge? Oh, okay, that's what someone's asking.
Where the hell would they fit a Great Wolf Lodge? Good question. So this is my next slide. So here you have a hotel, or sorry, what do you call it? A hospital. Here you have the businesses that were in the picture being built, and here you have a very cute park being built with a walkway crossing over to Wonderland. Here, nothing. And it's attached to Amusement Drive.
Really? I see.
So here we have a potential area. Again, I don't know. I'm predicting. Remember, I saw the Canada's Wonderland truck driving here the other day on my live stream. We have a potential area for a resort.
Yes.
If that's not a good enough area, we have here again on the stockholder calls. They keep talking about purchasing adjacent land. We also have here
about purchasing adjacent land specifically for Wonderland or for all parks?
All their parks. All parks, yeah.
Okay.
And then we have here, this isn't a big enough area. Maybe it won't be an indoor water park, but this is another piece of property they own that isn't touched.
I don't think they could put a water park there.
No, they did just purchase this land right here, but they're using it for dirt storage.
I think what they're going to do eventually is they're going to push all these trees back, and they're going to use the land that they have there and make some sort of expansion. And what do they got? Snoopy there? What's in that land?
Dinosaurs Alive. So
Dinosaurs Alive, yeah.
A resort, because if you think about it, exit the highway, you have parking here for the resort, and you build the resort over Dinosaurs Alive.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then they have the family entrance into the family area. To me, that's just the most perfect option.
Yeah. So where exactly, if I may ask, where exactly was that Wonderland truck that you saw driving? Like, which way was it going? Like, was it?
It was right here. It's all dug up now. This makes it look green and unused. This actually used to be the old Wonderland property that Dick Kinzel sold, that asshole. Part of my French. So you have your entrance to Wonderland here. People would exit Major Mackenzie, drive in here. You'd have your parking booths. They'd come around, come under the highway, and into the parking lot.
Oh, Wonderland used to use that property for parking booths?
Yep, see them right here.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, and then Dick Kinzel sold this property to the town.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what Matt Ouimet would have done with this property? This would have been a resort.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. That's crazy. I think we would have seen an underground parking garage too.
No. They don't need to. Wonderland doesn't need more space as much as people think they do. Here, I'll get into it. We actually have a lot of area to grow. Again, they can build rides over rides. They can build them into the parking lot without taking up too much parking at all. You have this area here for growth. I mean, look at what they're building a coaster in this very tiny area. Then they have areas they can remove attractions to build new ones. And then they have.
I think we got a really good future for this park. Yeah. I think that's right for this park. Let's take a couple questions here. Can that property be repurchased by Cedar Fair? If they gave the right price, I'm sure it could, but I'm sure they're building something there.
No, it's too late. The hospital's there.
Oh, right. Yeah, like I said, they've probably started building stuff.
Yeah, the hospital's already on its second or third floor now, so it's too late.
So yeah, it's too late. North entry. Has adjacent land been purchased beside the main driveway to the driveway entrance to the south?
What do you mean? This is already their property. You can see the fence here. This is already their property.
Isn't that where the dirt is, or?
No, the dirt is.
The dirt is over there. Yeah. Okay.
Right here.
Do they have more space than Given? I think they might.
Well, I don't have it on here, but a lot of the farmlands north of here, so up here, all the farmlands have gone up for sale. And, I mean, they could move their facilities over there.
You brought up a really interesting point that just north, was it just north or was it west that you said yesterday? Just north, there's a lot of land going up for sale that they might buy. Yeah, north.
So Jane and Teston, north of there, is up for sale. All of it.
And they could put a nice resort up there and have the tram go back and forth.
They wouldn't have a tram that far away. It's
not really a tram, like a shuttle bus.
Yeah, they could build resorts up there and just have like have a shuttle bus service.
Yeah,
similar to Disney. It's not that far away. It's like a 5-minute bus ride.
For sure.
By shuttle bus, yeah.
This is an interesting podcast so far. We got 22 watching. We still have Carowinds to go over, so stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a good stream.
So, on to Carowinds.
Oh, we're talking about Carowinds now. Okay, so and wait a second. Before we start Carowinds, are there any further questions about Canada's Wonderland? Are we doing a question segment after we're done Carowinds?
Yeah, okay. I'd save the questions for after. We can go back the slides back to the the tunnel area. So you're talking to the wrong person. I have no idea where this coaster is going to go.
All right, so where do we start here? What are we gonna talk about? So well, I've heard about Carowinds possibly adding a GCI.
Yeah, I have no idea. Someone from Carowinds can maybe like in the comment section tell us where it could possibly go. We just know permits have been filed for a 2019 project. Here you have your cabins, your water park expansion because this is an outdated here. Then you have your your Fury 325 goes here.
Sorry, is 325 not listed here?
No, it is. It's right here. You can just hardly see it because we're so high up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the water park expansion, the cabins, and they have a hotel going somewhere. I forget where.
It's probably somewhere around here. They got tons of land around here.
Yeah, well, not all this is theirs. I think this is. I think it's been outlined here pretty well.
Well, anything Carowinds Boulevard is their property, no?
Well, that's a road. A lot of these roads are built on like city property.
Okay. I've actually stayed in a hotel around here. I was there at the time. I think I told you this when they were about to open 325, and my mom wouldn't take me.
Yeah, from what I hear, it's going to be a GCI or it could be a wing coaster. They don't have. I think they have an invert already.
I heard somebody saying. I heard a rumor about going by the Dodgems. Okay, where are the Dodgems?
Behind Boo Blasters and where Sand Dune Lagoon is where the new coaster is going. Yeah, that can make sense. I assume like here. I don't know where Boo Blasters is.
Hold on one second.
Oh no, that's a road.
Where's Boo Blasters? Just look for Planet Snoopy, Camp Snoopy, right here in the bottom right hand corner of the screen.
So GCI is like a good coaster choice in my opinion. You can fit them pretty much in any plot of land. They have really popular reviews. Mystic Timbers was popular, or you have like a wing coaster.
A wing coaster I can't see a wing coaster fitting in just because of the whole land, so the amount of space they have. I could definitely see a GCI going in. Mm-hmm. I can't see a wing coaster.
Well, I mean, it could be anything, right?
Right. We don't know yet. This coaster is supposed to come in 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we have. So these are a few of the confirmed things that Cedar Fair has confirmed on their stockholder calls. So 10% of revenue is going towards investment in the parks. This is excluding accommodations, infrastructure, and land purchases. Then we have what we talked about, the unique brand identities in the markets the parks operate in.
So the first one screams. The first one screams resort.
No, that's excluding accommodations.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I didn't. Yeah, okay.
So this is like in terms of rides, literally rides. So this excludes accommodations, infrastructures, and land purchases.
Okay.
Then you have your unique brand identities, which we talked about earlier. This is a big one. So they're focusing on the family, placemaking, and events. Removing lower capacity rides and replacing with higher capacity rides, lowering the cost of doing business, and then moving from a 1-day park visit to a 2 to 3 day destination in their top 5 parks, developing land adjacent to the parks for future growth and development, accommodations, and technology.
Technology. I can already sort of see them fixing the technology as we were told from sources with the bat.
No, that's separate. So in terms of technology, they're looking to replace people with like so a lot of their games and
all
so like
missions will be like machines where you do touch screen. Okay, I see.
Essentially and not essentially. So like when you go up to a game, you can literally just pay for the game and play.
You don't have to actually give them your money, so you just like tap your card and you're playing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm surprised that no parks have done that yet.
All right. And then we have discussion.
Yes. Do we have any Alec, I don't know how to say your last name. Sorry about that. If they don't do a GCI, what would their other choice be? Probably a wing coaster.
Wing coaster, yeah.
You couldn't see a dive coaster going in there at all?
That's too many dives by one park. They're not going to pull a Six Flags.
Let's see. Do we got any interesting questions up here? Nothing yet. Near the state line of South Carolina side. That's apparently where possibly the new coaster is going to go. I don't know. New hotels going next to I-77. Where's Interstate 77?
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, because their hotel's further along than ours. They've already got permits filed and everything.
40 free spin. What do you think about the 40 free spin?
I don't think
Cedar
not
Fair
for Carowinds.
No,
Carowinds and Canada's Wonderland and Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Kings Dominion are going to get the good coasters, like the big coasters, the B&Ms, the big projects, and the other parks are going to get those small Larson loops, free, like whatever they end up being. I think you're going to see every year.
Do you ever think that they're going to start including one of those lower end parks as one of their high end parks and start investing more money?
No.
No?
No. Not unless they have a big plan in place, like California's Great America, where they're going to earn back that money. But even California's Great America, I mean, that coaster didn't cost very much at all, like that they just got. So they're still making smaller additions to that park. That even though they have a big plan, you'll never see a big coaster added to those smaller parks because it won't earn its money back the way these big parks are going to earn their money back. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Any ideas on how Canada's Wonderland's coaster will change the area around it? Like new gift shop or restaurant? I think it's going to change a lot. Restaurants, gift shops, everything.
Yeah, so what we're hearing is it's going to have a restaurant. It's obviously going to have a gift shop. I think you're going to see a lot of theming for Cedar Fair. I think it's going to be its most themed coaster that they ever build.
Aside from Backlot.
Well, no, it'll be more themed than Backlot. Backlot was easy to theme because they just threw a bunch of shipping containers, cars in there. Like it's not actually as themed as you think it is. This is going to be its most themed coaster.
Okay. Sure. Give you both credit for figuring out Google Hangouts. Hope it evolves to real Hangout where we can join live as opposed to typing in the sidebar. Great effort, guys. Thanks very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we'll do like the actual live hangouts next week. I just got to do a bit more research into how to do it.
Could the coaster go over the pathways like Valraven?
Yes, for sure.
I think so.
For sure. I mean, look at.
They're winding paths too.
We have the fences we're moving along Splashworks here now. That's a good sign. You have some footers that you can see here already. See a footer over here. This is a pathway. You have a footer here, 2 footers here. And then, I mean, if they're removing the fence line along Splashworks in an area that they don't need, like there's no Splashworks expansion happening over here, something's coming. So there's clear signs that they're removing things. And remember, these trees were marked for removal.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm saying dead coaster, but it could be anything. We just know it's B&M. We
Uh,
know it's taking a lot more time than your typical coaster.
Evan Grubus is asking, do you think Cedar Fair could try to pull a Disney and do more theming to try to make more atmosphere than just coasters and rides? I
For
don't think
sure.
so.
Yeah. No.
Really?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You think?
You're gonna see Carowinds and Canada's Wonderland be that.
Oh, okay. I
Remember, I'm
thought I
working on
thought
that
he was
documentary.
right, right. I
We're gonna
thought
be
he was
working.
talking about like actual Disney, like
You're not gonna
the types of
see
rides.
you're not gonna see those $200 million coasters being built.
Yeah,
No.
no, no.
But you're going to see, I mean, look at California's Great America. It got the better end of the deal in terms of theming on that Raptor track. You're going
Hmm.
to see theming at Cedar Fair from now on. Cedar Fair has said it several times. They're focusing on becoming that family destination and placemaking. And to be a
Sure.
placemaking destination, you have to have theming and environment.
100%.
Yeah, so you're going to see that all the time now.
Intertwined screen shares would be would with real webcams. Real webcams would be awesome. We'll probably figure it out eventually. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
that we have to figure. I don't even know how to do that.
We can probably figure it out.
Yeah, we'll try and figure that out for next Sunday for sure.
Hmm.
My drone's gonna get to go up almost every day this week, guys. That's exciting because of the
Uh,
weather.
I might have to join you.
Someone asked about what do I think the next coaster will be at Kings Island? I think we missed that question. Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
that was a good one.
It's gonna be either a Giga or a. It's got to be different from Cedar Point though. Kings Island and Cedar Point are very different. You're gonna see Kings Island become that placemaking destination, which is separate from Cedar Point. Cedar Point's definitely a coaster destination. Kings Island is going to be the placemaking destination. So that's a hard question to answer. I mean, it could be a Giga. I don't think it's going to be a Giga for a while, but again, I have no idea. My guess is it's going. They just got their GCI. They have the invert. I mean, it could be a Giga. It's either going to be a Giga or a something unique.
We got another question coming from Evan Grubus. Is Cedar Fair going to start to do theming? Do you think Six Flags would follow? Six Flags, let's not talk about Six Flags, but we'll answer this question. Would you like to go ahead?
No, we can talk about Six Flags. It's up to them. But
Okay.
Six Flags doesn't have the money to do theming right now because Six Flags does something different than Cedar Fair. Six Flags invests something pretty decent in all their parks every year. And to do that, because they have so many parks, they have to cut costs in a lot of areas. Because remember, Six Flags is actually suffering. So I don't
Yes.
think we'll see theming. But I mean, their dark rides are way better than Cedar Fair's dark rides, hands down. So I mean, you'll see it in different areas. So like their dark rides are going to be way better than Cedar Fair will ever build, but their coaster lineup will never be themed to the standard that Cedar Fair is holding.
I only care about Six Flags because Six Flags Great America is my home park. Okay,
Well, if
that's a
Six
pretty
Flags
cool.
Great America is your home park, then you're going to be spoiled.
Honestly, I've always wanted to go to Great America. I always wanted to go to Great America. I like Six Flags parks. I like them. I don't know what your thoughts on that is, Reddit, but
What? Six Flags? I hate Six Flags.
uh, we're gonna get a lot of questions on that now. I can't wait till we have that one Six Flags guy come in that's hating on Cedar Fair.
Only way Canada's Winner will gain more is to build a hotel on site. One of the biggest downfalls. I think you're actually gonna eat your words there. I think Canada's Wonderland is due for a massive upgrade over the next 5 years. I think you're going to see approximately $1 billion invested into the park over the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, again, 2018 is already shaping up to be one of the largest investments we've ever seen. You have to think about the amount of dollars that are being thrown at the park. Catering just got a massive upgrade. Restaurants is getting a massive upgrade. All the washrooms are being redone. You have 2 new flat rides and a Splashworks expansion, and they're building a coaster 2 years in advance. So think about how much money they just spent in 1 year. That's a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a
Alec is
lot.
asking. Alec is asking, do you think Kings Island will ever be better than Cedar Point? I don't think so. I think they want to keep Cedar Point on top, even though it's struggling.
Good question. And you want to know why? Yes, I do. So coaster wise, no, absolutely not. Cedar Point is going to be, and their focus moving forward is going to be the thrill side. Cedar Point will be the thrill capital, coaster thrill, whatever, of the world. And all their other parks are going to be placemaking parks. They're going to be the Disneyland, not Disney World, Disneyland, like where you go for an experience, an atmosphere, an environment. Yes, that means coasters too, but it's going to be more so. You're going to see a lot, like you see it, like they're trying to copy Wonderland in every aspect. Wonderland doesn't have pavement; they have stonework. So everywhere is stonework, everywhere is gardens, everywhere is trees, everywhere is shaded, everywhere is restaurants. And you're seeing Carowinds, King's Dominion, Kings Island copying that now. And there's a reason. Canada's Wonderland is their most successful park.
Right.
So
there's a rumor going.
What?
Sorry, finish up. I got a question from somebody.
Yeah, so I
got some. Okay. So apparently there's a rumor going around that Worlds of Fun is getting a coaster in 2019, according to Dominic.
Is that the one that had the Stingray removed? Whatever park got Stingray removed, I would say yes. So you're going to see 3 to 4 parks getting coasters every year now.
Okay.
Because, again, 10% of revenue is being invested into attractions.
Right.
That's significant. Remember, Wonderland makes like over $100 billion a year alone. So add in all the parks, 10% of revenue is going to, again, that's revenue. So that's taking costs out.
Okay.
Yeah, again, that's why we saw 4 coasters this year, right?
Right. So we got another one from Coaster Forever. Backlot sucks since Cedar Fair removed the helicopter fireworks theming. Okay, so let's touch on that a little bit. You told me you had your theory on why they removed that, and it wasn't because of copyright. Is that correct? It was because of capacity, right?
So the only thing they had to remove for copyright was the Italian, like the looking of the cars.
Yes.
They removed things for capacity.
Everything that said Italian job, they removed because of copyright. Yeah. Anything else would have been there because it been removed.
Yeah. They could have had the helicopter easily without copyright. They removed it for capacity. Like if you have a train stopping there for 30 seconds to be shot at by a helicopter, that's adding to a capacity nightmare. So they removed all that for capacity reasons. And then on top of that, the cost of keeping those things going every year. I mean, the amount of money they're saving just by not having those is so little. And then, I mean, even without them, it's still a good coaster. You think about it, coaster enthusiast wise, yeah, it's not a great coaster, but family and general public wise, it's a great coaster.
Of course.
I think a lot of the times us coaster enthusiasts have to take a step back and view it through the lens of the general public. General public, not republic. We're spoiled. I mean, my post on the Instagram with that spoiled girl from Willy Wonka, that's the coaster enthusiast, like in a nutshell.
Of course. Marineland is getting a B&M Launch Stratocoaster, by the way. I highly doubt that.
He's just trolling.
I know. That's why I'm saying I highly doubt that.
Yeah, so I mean, we could see Dorney, Wonderland, Carowinds, and Worlds of Fun getting a coaster in 2019. That's very possible. And that would be the 4 parks. And actually, that would make sense because no other park really has any solid rumors to a coaster coming. Kings Island is not getting a coaster in 2019. Sorry, but it's not.
I could see Six Flags buying Marineland. Is that what you're trying to say?
Cedar Fair is not buying any parks anytime soon. They said it in the BNN interview. In fact, I might actually just post that BNN interview. When I said that last week, I'm going to post it today.
I think we should
Cedar
put
Fair
it.
Is not buying any parks.
I think when we try to put the thumbnail on after we go off air, we'll put the link in the description of this stream so you guys can all check that out. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Can we do that? I think we can do that. Okay. CWKIKI getting a coaster.
Kings Island's going to get a coaster in either 2020 or 2021. They just got Mystic Timbers. Like Kings Island isn't a park that makes a crap ton of money to justify building coasters at the rate that Cedar Point builds coasters. Like Kings Island fanboys are the most spoiled. Actually, Kings Island and Kings Dominion fanboys are the most spoiled fanboys there are. And I feel like Canada's Wonderland fans are getting up there. Like we're getting up there because the fact that people are upset about a great dive coaster with extensive theming coming to the park, like just calm down a little bit. It's going to be a good coaster. It's going to be a good coaster with a great layout and great theming.
I don't think it's going to be as big. I don't know. Do you think it's going to be as big as Valraven, or do you think it's going to be smaller?
I think the fact that you're seeing a tunnel stretch from right here to right here makes it better than Valraven already. I don't care about height. If it's the same height as Valraven, it's a better coaster already. You have a tunnel.
Could you imagine if it's not a tunnel, it's something else for some reason? Oh my god.
It's definitely a tunnel. The permit says tunnel.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. And they removed it, and it's funny because they removed the piece of track for Vortex right in that spot. Do we have any questions? We got Kate. Okay, so Alec is a Kings Island fanboy. Kate, Evan Grubus is a KD fanboy. I thought you were a Great America fanboy.
Coaster Studios is a Kings Dominion fanboy.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna say anything.
Don't be saying anything to Taylor over there.
I know. For my own safety, I'm not gonna say anything. But people need to remember that he's a kid. Like he's a young teenager.
How old is he? Isn't he in his 20s?
I think he's 19 or 20.
Okay. Where did you find all these permits? Are we allowed to disclose that?
Yeah.
They're public records, right? It's public records.
Yeah, permits are public records. I actually messaged the town of Vaughan asking for so in the permits for Canada's Wonderland, they said that drawings were submitted for the tunnel and coaster. I'd emailed them asking for the public records, and you have to submit a whole process. Like, so in Canada, we have what's called freedom to information. So you can request freedom to information. So you can submit a freedom to information request, but it's a long process. It costs money, and then it's up to the park. Blah blah blah. So you'll never get it in time before the announcement, anyways. But
so wait, are you saying that you could have got the drawings and stuff that they could have like?
It's a long process.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And they could probably stop you from getting it with loopholes and stuff. Vortex ain't going anywhere. I think we've established that. I don't think it's going anywhere either.
Dave already submitted a tweet to someone asking that. The Vortex will be open in spring this year.
But did they ask if the water was going to be there? Because I think that's the best part of the whole coaster.
The water is going to be right here.
No, I know, but are they going to keep it? Are they going to put water in while there's it's an active construction zone or no?
No, you're not going to see water over here.
Okay. See.
So we have 6 footers so far. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are actually poured and dried. And it's right here. That's all we know so far for this coaster and B&M.
The lag between the live chat and the response sidebar questions has gotten slower. I'll stop typing. LOL.
It was never slow. I think we were just it was our first live stream. We just weren't good at doing both. And now we both have a phone or iPad and then the computer, so we can watch both.
Well, I think it is lagging because that's what he says here. He's saying that it's
he's saying the lag. It's gotten slower. It's better. Because last week we weren't answering questions.
Typing. Oh, okay.
Last week we were really bad at answering the questions as they came.
Yeah, for sure. No, because we were barely looking at the chat sidebar.
Yeah.
Does
anyone have any other questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think we should get ready to wrap up soon. We'll take a few more questions. Oh, we should do our question of the day. We need to do our question of the day.
I think I submitted polls. Everyone, are the polls there? I created 5 poll questions. Can you all see them? And did you answer them?
No, I want to hear what people's responses are in the live chat. We can read them off,
Sure. What's your question?
Okay, I'm trying to think here. Any roller coaster in the park, what would it be?
I think you asked this last time.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What do you think it is?
We got one more question here. Okay. Thoughts on other park? Oh my God, they're all coming in.
Oh my God. Okay, Six Flags. I don't know, because every park gets something every year. So I think you'll see your typical Larson loopers. I think you're going to see more of those cool kind of like flipping flat ride things at other parks, blah, blah, blah. You're just going to see copy and paste of what they already have. RMC, flat rides, Larson loopers, 40 spins, blah, blah, blah. Everyone hit the I. Capacity hasn't changed. No, backlot doesn't stop there anymore. I don't know if you've rid it recently, but when I rode it last season, it literally slows down and then goes. It doesn't stop.
Could they put that setting up? Is there even a break there anymore, or did they take the break out?
No, the break's still there. They can change it whenever they want.
And they can turn the effects on, right?
Right? Yeah, I think we're going to see a construction wall with teasing on it, like we saw at Cedar Point for sure. Yeah, they can stop. The backlit stunt coaster, they just turned off the effects. That's all they did.
Right. So one click of a button, they can all be back on.
Well, yeah, but at this point, the effects probably don't work. There's probably no gas in the line. There's probably no there's no point to turn them back on. There really isn't.
What do you think the coaster is going to be?
A dive coaster. It's either going to be a dive coaster or a wing coaster.
I think
There's
so
nothing
too.
else. It's not an invert. It's not an invert.
Everyone hit I. Yo, a lot of these questions are coming in late. Like this backlog question came in late.
No, I think they're just getting back to questions. There's about a 15-second delay. I know that. Like when we're talking, they're getting it about 10 to 15 seconds later.
Okay.
I can see it when I move my mouse.
I
don't see the mouse.
I don't think it's going to be a stand-up coaster.
Okay. No, it's not going to be a stand-up at all.
What color supports do you think we might see? Didn't you mention this? Didn't you say they're going to be brown supports or black supports?
Basically, what happened is I don't even know if I can say this, but basically the park got a lot of black and brown paint. So I'm assuming black supports that, or you're going to see the same color as Valraven supports. But I think our track color is actually more brown than Cedar Point's. Cedar Point's was I think it was maroon, it's like a purplish brown. Ours was just like brown. Should I ban Mr. Herpes? No, I'm joking.
Colors have been confirmed. Where are the colors been confirmed?
Well, we know it's brown.
Oh yeah, but where are the
color supports yet?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I think the black paint that they got could be for Halloween Haunt, right? It could be anything.
Dave Phillips said we might be getting a we might get winter ride maintenance tours like winter chill out next year. That would be cool.
Where did he say that? Because that would be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
I follow him. I have him. The minute he tweets, it pops up on my phone. So I did hear that the teasing campaign has started. By the way, it started with the Leviathan tweet. Chat is lagging big time. Okay.
So do you want to sort of wrap it up then?
I'm sure. Yeah, might as well. It's going to be posted onto YouTube this time. Don't worry. We have that selected. Again, anything that is discussed in here is not confirmed until the park makes an announcement. Any of the construction topics, blah, 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 is just mere speculation or rumors. Until the park makes an announcement, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and don't forget to be following Canada's Wonderland fan on Instagram. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming up soon. We're not talking about that yet, but we'll talk about it when we're ready to. So anyways, guys, thank you for joining today. We hope to see you next Sunday at 4 p.m., right? 4 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Now, the funny part is me trying to figure out how to turn this off again.
All right, well, have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.